Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Just United. Now, as I'm sure you're all aware, Manchester United's last game was away from home at St James's Park in the Premier League against Newcastle United. The final score 1-0 to Manchester United, and we needed that. We needed those 3 points. You know, it was so crucial to come away from Newcastle for Manchester United with a win, because at the time, whilst it was still 0-0 at St James's Park, Liverpool were beating Burnley, Arsenal were beating QPR. We needed to maintain our position in fourth, and it was just so fortunate that Ashley Young was in the right place at the right time to just put that ball into the back of the net, and you saw how much it meant to him as well. Let's just say that game against Newcastle did end 0-0. And we came away with just a point, we would have dropped down to 5th. I'm pretty sure we were already on 50 points. We've got 53 now. So, yeah, Liverpool, they would have been above us just by a point on 51. Thankfully, we did win that game because, you know, dropping down to 5th, it's a bit deflating for the players. And we really need that win. And I'm so happy that we got it, because now we've got a bit of a run of tough games coming up. We've got Arsenal first this Monday, which I'll get to in a minute, in the FA Cup quarter-final. Then we've got to play Tottenham. Then we've got Liverpool at Anfield. And that is going to be massive. That's going to be a huge game, especially if we beat Tottenham at Old Trafford beforehand. And if Liverpool beat Swansea as well on the same weekend, that game at Anfield between Liverpool and United, it's going to be huge. And that game could easily be the one to determine who's going to be finished in 4th spot, in that Champions League spot for next season. Then after Liverpool, the chase could be on for Manchester United for 4th spot, as we take on Tim Sherwood's Aston Villa at Old Trafford. Then we've got Man City at home. Then we've got to play Chelsea away. Then we've got Everton. So many games. And then we've got Arsenal, which is our second to last game of the Premier League season. So, oh wow, there's just so many big games there, so many crucial games for Manchester United to be winning. This is like the final test. This is the big one for Van Gaal. Can he pass? Can he get Manchester United into the Champions League for next season? I certainly hope so. Now, looking back to that game against Newcastle, beforehand, Van Gaal had mentioned in his press conference that he wanted to see the players, especially the back four, to stop playing the ball back to De Gea. The message has finally got through. We saw it a lot last season under David Moyes. We've seen it for the majority of this season, putting so much pressure on De Gea, because the games that we've been passing the ball back to De Gea, he looks as though he kind of worries under the ball. I get worried actually watching it. I've mentioned it numerous times, seeing the ball being passed back to De Gea, because the opposition, they're not fools. They're going to be onto that. They're going to be watching their tapes. They're going to be scouting ahead. They're going to be saying, well, you know, Manchester United, they keep passing the ball back to the keeper. So if you put them under pressure, keep pressing them, we may be able to get a cheap goal here or there. And, you know, that's happened over the last couple of months. Obviously, we haven't conceded a cheap goal like that, but we've come very close to doing so. But anyway, Van Gaal said that he wanted these players to stop passing back to De Gea so often. And that was completely rolled out in the game against Newcastle. I hardly saw De Gea, and that was brilliant to see. And that first half against Newcastle United, it's almost as if we saw the old Manchester United really going for it, really attacking, moving the ball forwards, nice and fluid. It was good to watch. There were some worrying moments though for our back four. I mean, Newcastle this season have been known to hit the opposition on the counter, and the perfect example of that is earlier in the season when they hosted Chelsea at St James's Park. They beat them 2-0. Remember when Chelsea were going as the new Invincibles with a question mark next to it? Well, Newcastle United put a stop to that and beat them 2-0. But both of those goals came from a brilliant counter-attacking move. And we saw that on Wednesday. They've got pace in their side. And that's what let us down. We were unable to put a stop to that. And I think that's where we're kind of going to struggle against Arsenal on Monday. Again, I'll get to that in a minute. But thankfully we had De Gea in goal for that game against Newcastle. Thankfully, he was looking very alert. I mean, what a keeper. Has to be our player of the season without a shadow of a doubt. And, you know, I think I would certainly put him up there alongside Neuer as being one of the best in the world between the sticks. Definitely. De Gea. Always take De Gea everywhere you go, and I don't want to see him leave. I don't think he will leave in the summer. I think he'll he'll sign a new contract. It'll just pop out of nowhere eventually. It'll come up on the Manchester United Twitter feed. De Gea sign a new contract. I don't think he'll be off, but he saved our bacon numerous times anyway against Newcastle, and did very well to do so, because I think there was 2 chances that they had which were one-on-one with De Gea, and he still managed to save it and keep the game at 0-0. I don't think much can really be said about that goal from Ashley Young, the winner, apart from that it was good to have another late winner from Manchester United. It's been a while since we've seen that. Wayne Rooney did brilliant to put the opposition under pressure, just running in and out. He was just there, making his presence known, and he even put Krul under pressure, which is very rare to see, because he is a quality keeper. And Krul just not that wide, thinking he was clearing it, but Ashley Young, well done for being in the right place at the right time, as I've already mentioned, to just slot it into the back of the net. And you know, for a split second whilst watching that, I really did think Young was going to fluff his lines. I thought he was going to put it wide, hit the side net, and that was it. It was going to end 0-0 the game, but it didn't. We won 1-0 and we came away with 3 points. Now, there was an incident which happened in that game on Wednesday between Jonny Evans and Cisse. I don't want to go into it too much, because you know, you can look into these things and really analyse every little aspect of what happened with the incident and so on. But as Jonny Evans was making his way to his feet, because both guys were on the floor after a challenge was made, it was quite clear that there was a bit of spit coming from Jonny Evans' mouth, and then Cisse got up and retaliated by getting in close and just slobbering all over Jonny Evans, spitting on his neck. It was gross. I mean, as Robbie Savage said, you know, of all the things in football, I would rather have a nasty challenge on me than getting spit at. It's like the lowest of the low, getting spit on, having someone else's saliva. It's just gross, and it shouldn't be done. Now, today, I'm recording this on Saturday, it's just been announced that Jonny Evans will receive a 6-match ban, and Cisse will receive a 7-match ban. I think it's slightly harsh for it to be 6 and 7. Maybe for a spitting ban, it should be for at least 3 games. I mean, I think if you headbutt someone in football, I think you get a ban for 3 games or something like that. It should be the other way round. You headbutt someone, it should be for 6 or 7 games. Whereas if you spit on someone, not only should you be banned for maybe 3 or 4 games, you should also be fined by the FA, which I think Jonny Evans and Cisse have been done anyway. But it's the fact, it's on TV, it's visible, it's going to be in the newspapers now. There's going to be kids watching, and whenever they're going to be playing football at school, they're going to think it's the right thing to do, and it's not. Now, what's kind of annoying me about this whole situation is that, you know, John Terry was banned for 4 games for being racist, whereas Jonny Evans and Cisse have been banned for 6 or 7 games for spitting. Now, surely racism is worse than spitting on someone. Spitting is terrible, and to do it on someone, it's just degrading. But racism, that is just on another level of abuse. It's just terrible. And Terry should have been banned for 6 or 7 games, not 4. That was just ridiculous. I think the FA, they need to go away and rethink their whole system of punishing players when things like this come around. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments below. Let's get some discussion going. Now, moving on just quickly for the preview of our next game, which is against Arsenal at Old Trafford in the FA Cup quarter-final. Arsenal, they've been doing well recently in the Premier League. They've won 5 of their last 6 games. But let's not forget, it's to be played at Old Trafford. Arsenal's past record at Old Trafford is poor, and I think we're going to beat them. I think it's going to be a simple win for Manchester United, whether it be 2-0 or a 2-1 win. I think we're going to do it and head through to the next round of the FA Cup. But United going to be cautious with Arsenal's pace going forwards. They've got Sanchez, they've got Theo Walcott, Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's an option for Wenger. Also Danny Welbeck, who could start for Arsenal, returning to Old Trafford for the first time since signing for them in the summer last year. And let's not forget they've got Ozil as well, who seems to be finding a bit of form lately. Moving on to my starting lineup, the team that I would go with to take on Arsenal this Monday. I would have a 4-2-3-1. In goal, of course, David De Gea would start. At the back, Valencia, Jones, Smalling and Rojo. Luke Shaw may return. If he does, then I would obviously have Luke Shaw at the left back, pushing Rojo as a centre half, maybe alongside Smalling or Phil Jones. It all depends on whether Jones is back as well, since he's been ill recently. In midfield, my two centre midfielders, I would have Blind and Herrera. But then again, Michael Carrick has returned, so maybe I would go with Carrick and Herrera in central midfield. Michael Carrick would definitely bring out the best in Di Maria, which we definitely need. We need him finding top form now heading into those last couple of games of the season. And I think he'd help Rooney out as well if he was to play up front. Then my top three, I would have Di Maria on the right, so he can whip in on his left. And then on the left, I would have Ashley Young, who is just enjoying his football at the moment. It's brilliant to see, so he would definitely start against Arsenal if I was in charge. In the middle, I would probably go with Mata, but you know, Van Gaal will probably go with Fellaini, using that height advantage again. And up front on his own would be Captain Wayne Rooney. So that would be my starting lineup to take on Arsenal this Monday in the FA Cup quarter-final. What's yours? Let me know in the comments below, and also let me know what your favourite moment between Man United and Arsenal is. Would it be the moment when Wenger was sent to the stands and he had to stand in the middle of the dugout? Or would it be when Manchester United thrashed Arsenal 8-2 in the Premier League? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway guys, that's going to be it for this episode of Just United. I hope that you've all enjoyed. If you haven't already, be sure to come follow me on both Facebook and Twitter. The links can be found in the description below. That's it then. I'll see you all very soon for the next episode. Thanks for watching.